Imagine walking into your favorite grocery store. You're greeted by an array of fresh produce, and you smile as you walk down the endless aisles that are filled with your favorite foods. A "Come again soon" sign ushers you out of the store, and you leave satisfied with your purchases. What you don't know is that your favorite grocery store is hiding something from you. Food waste has become one of America's biggest problems. Both consumers and food retailers are major contributors to food waste, so it is essential that both these groups are educated on this issue. Dr. M. Sanjian, an American conservation scientist, speaks more on the food waste issue in Vox News' video, "Food Waste is the World's Dumbest Problem."
When we picture the stuff that's hurting our planet, what do we think of? We think of like smokestacks, cars, oil spills. We don't really think about all the food we throw away. In the US, roughly 40% of the food we produce never gets eaten. That's over 365 million pounds of food each day. While that's happening, about 1 in 8 Americans still don't have a steady supply of food to their tables. And all this wasted food is a huge contributor to climate change. If global food waste were a country, it would be the third largest emitter of greenhouse gases, just behind China and the United States. So it really is an enormous problem, and one of the easiest ways.
Rob Greenfield is also speaking out about the food waste issue. Rob is an American environmental activist and dumpster diver. He talks about his experiences with combating the food waste issue in his TED Talk, "How to End the Food Waste Fiasco."
And I found out that we waste a ton of food in the United States. By a ton, I mean $165 billion worth of food per year. Now, to put that into a little bit of perspective, that's more than the budgets for America's national parks, public libraries, veterans healthcare, all the federal prisons, the FBI, and the FDA combined. But still, that's just a big number, and most of us can't really understand issues like this through a bunch of numbers. We need to really see it to believe it. And I wanted to show everybody what I was finding, but I knew I couldn't take everyone to the dumpsters with me. So I decided to bring it to them. This is the food waste fiasco. In cities across America, I went out dumpster diving and took what I found to a park nearby. Usually, I just had 1 or 2 days to dive as I was cycling across the country. This is 2 days worth of dumpster diving in Madison, Wisconsin.
Now it's time to get into the causes of food waste. One of the main causes of food waste is consumers overbuying groceries. According to the documentary Just Eat It, A Food Waste Story, American households waste 15 to 25% of the food that is bought. This is equal to buying 4 bags of groceries, dropping one, and not picking it up. Another main contributor to food waste is the misconception behind sell-by dates. Many consumers get sell-by, use-by, and best-by dates mixed up and end up throwing out good food as a result. Sell-by dates are for the food retailers to know how fresh the food is. They do not mean that the food is no longer safe to eat after this date. Best-by dates are also not a safety date. Rather, they tell consumers when the food is at its best quality. Use-by dates indicate when the food will begin to spoil. The last cause I want to talk about is the idea of perfection. Food retailers and consumers have adopted the perspective that what looks better tastes better. Because of this, most grocers overstock displays to make the food look more appealing. The stores cannot sell all of the produce before it goes bad, and so it leads to unnecessary food waste. Food retailers also have certain expectations for what their produce has to look like. The Just Eat It documentary also talks about how farmers will throw out perfectly good produce simply because they are not up to food retailers' standards. This produce is known as ugly produce. The food waste issue may seem daunting, but there are always ways you can help make a difference. I think one of the most important ways is to start a conversation. Spread the word about the food waste issue. Food waste is slowly killing our planet, and action needs to be taken. and I believe education is the first step to action.